It's three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the O-Line Committee.
I know it's the doldrums here. We're in the desert of the off season. We got, I got to put Jay back in the middle for the YouTube audience. Sorry.
Much better.
I don't know why it does that. It's fucking just random.
It's all good.
But this is going to be, I think, one of our most entertaining and best shows. I can feel it. It's literally
so
like
excited.
the desert of the off season, and I'm calling my shot right now.
This is where we start wars right here.
This
2
is where,
weeks
this
before
is where,
camp.
This is where sportscasters make their money. When if you can find things to talk about in the month of July, you're just right
a beast.
there. You're
Dude,
right there, dude.
for sure.
August is around the corner. The fall, you can start to smell it. Like, this is where you got to earn your money.
You know, as a former, I'm in the podcast YouTube world now, but as a former 4-hour talk show radio host, for 10 plus years, I remember one of my bosses once said exactly what Jay just said. We get past the NFL draft. It's like a 3-month sort of dead period where baseball is the only thing really happening. Yep. And he literally said to me and my co-host, "This is why we pay you. The next 3 months, if you can just
be creative
content and get people to keep listening, then that's why you earn this paycheck." But
hey, I'll be honest though, the more the media becomes a part of this stuff, and the more guys take to Twitter and all this stuff, June and July has become like the hottest months of the year. All you got to do is go home and relax. Go home and relax. Yeah, exactly.
Just wait for a Cowboys player to pipe off on Twitter, and you'll be fine.
Oh,
right?
just
wait for another Chiefs player to get arrested, right? Like it's like something's gonna happen.
Oh God! But sorry, man, I cut you off.
No, you're good. We're going to debut a new segment in a few minutes called "Is This a Hot Take?" We've got the big boy question of the week. We got dumb football questions. We'll get to some mics. Before we do anything else, if you haven't already, please click the like button and the subscribe button on the O-Line Committee YouTube channel. We're almost 21,000 subscribers just over a year into this thing. So thank you guys. And we see the numbers, man. Like, we're getting probably way more downloads and views on these episodes than we thought we would a year ago. So thank you guys. Sometimes it can be a grind to build these things from nothing. And so just thank you if you've consumed one episode or every one since we launched a year ago. We appreciate you, and you can help us by spreading the word about the O-Line Committee. Again, subscribe and like. And Jay, you have a shameless ask for our audience too.
I do.
I don't even know what this is, but
So the wife and I, there is a foundation here in Lincoln. It's called Josh the Otter Foundation, which is kids swimming, right? And Michael Phelps started it. It's about teaching infants and young children to swim early because, like, drowning for young kids is like one of the highest causes of deaths, right? So my kids have been going there since they were like 6 months old. Well, they put on a gala every November, and they essentially do what is a Lincoln Dancing with the Stars. And so my wife and I are currently in dance lessons. Yes. We are competing. We're going to do a West Coast swing.
Yes.
Right? And so we're learning some West Coast swing steps, but part of it is fundraising, and part of it is getting money. So I'm going to have a QR code that we'll share on an episode here as we come up. All I would ask is that if you want to donate to a charity or you're looking for something to give to, we'll put things up there. There's a lot of ways to donate, but it all goes back. 100% proceeds go to this foundation to help with kids drowning, teaching awareness for kids swimming. It's a part that's near and dear to my heart, so I'm going to put that up there. But yeah, I'll be doing dance lessons for the next 5 months.
Wow.
My wife and I have a 2.5 minute West Coast swing dance that we'll have to perform in front of a bunch of judges and people. And so, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. But I'm looking for ways to raise money, so I just figured
Can you send us a link, too, so we can put it in the YouTube comments?
Man.
Yes, I will get links and QR codes and everything sent out to you guys. Just want to put it out there for feelers because I read the comments. I always read the comments, and there's probably a lot of people like, get to the content. Fuck you. Yeah. But at the same time, you never know. There's a lot of people here that love us.
Since we're talking to the audience, can I just say I've appreciated meeting so many people these last couple months, like at all these baseball and softball tournaments that come up and are like, I love your show. I love how you and Jay get at it. I love how you two team up on Mackey. I'm like, well, we don't naturally do that. We get on them sometimes. We're tough about it. And the conversations that it sparked, it's been awesome, dude. It's been a lot of fun. Don't ever be shy to come over and say what's up, dude. I see people looking and they're like, what's up, dude?
Basically, if you see a 6'8" dude tattooed and probably looking for his lost
wearing
child
this
at
exact
Kowalski's
shirt.
grocery store, wearing a brute
wear
shirt.
the same
with
outfit,
a watermelon monster in his hand and one in his back pocket, it's out.
And then Starbucks in the other one. Don't get crazy.
Dude, the Dan Campbell transition is almost
Been
fully
phenomenal.
complete here for
I feel like I'm his son he didn't know about. I swear. We are related somehow. Which we'll get into my mic later. Remind me about that, about my mic. It's a very sweet mic. We have to talk about that.
Let's debut a new segment called Is This a Hot Take? And it's very simply, I'm going to throw out a small handful of potential hot takes, and you tell me, yeah, that's a hot take. Scale it back, Phil. Or, no, actually, that's not a hot take. You're pretty spot on there. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Do the rules make sense to everybody involved here?
Okay. Yes.
I'm ready.
All right. The first one. The Los Angeles Chargers are going to double their win total at least from 5 to 10 plus wins in 2024.
It's not a hot take.
Okay.
Let him finish.
I don't even need to.
Dude.
I know. I'm sorry.
He has to justify his hot take.
Go ahead.
I'll justify it quick, okay? And I might throw out some that aren't things that I believe in, but I'll just float them to see if you guys think it's a hot take. But so 5 wins last year. So I'm saying 10 plus wins. They have a top 5 strength of schedule in terms of like easy strength of schedule. They've got, Raiders are beatable in their own division. They've got the Broncos twice. They also have the Cardinals. They've got the Panthers and the Patriots on their schedule. So the schedule on paper looks great. A top 5 to 7 quarterback in Justin Herbert. And I think a top 5, 6 head coach in Jim Harbaugh. And Booney, you were there, man. Like nobody expected you guys back, almost 15 years ago to win like 13 games or whatever it was, but he just brings everyone together. So is it a hot take? 5 wins to 10 wins overnight?
No. And here's why. And give me my platform because it's going to be great. I've been thinking about this a lot. When Jim came to us, we had just left with Singletary. And the team was really kind of up and down, right? And Jim was quick to be like, this is what it takes to win in the NFL. How do I know? I played 20 years, stupids. I get it. Like, I've been here. I've done this. I know what it takes. He got everybody to buy in right away. And he was like, more is more. And you'll see why. We're going to get better. And this is why. And like instantly things started making sense. And you're like, well, yeah, maybe we have kind of been pussies about this. We are getting paid a lot of money, right? I hear that from the Chargers guys now. They're already starting to talk how we used to talk. Like even when the guys come back in the summer to train with me, they're quick to say things that I go, ooh, you're bought in, aren't you? And he's like, all fucking in. And I'm like, I can tell. I used to say that. And I remember how glorious it was to be there. And it's the way that he captures this team to go, this is how it's fucking done. You guys clearly fucked up, and I am the guy they call when it goes to shit. And we do it the opposite way. And it was funny because today we were breaking down all the guys' film. And it's funny when you see the different tempos of everybody's OTAs, right? And guys are in the room. I said tempos.
Careful.
I said
PA might be
tempos.
listening. Don't be getting Jim in trouble.
No, there was not.
I don't want to see sources O-line committee on the NFL's fine list.
No, there was nothing that was like anything, dude, like you and I used to do. Not even close. Don't even start. But like when you see guys that barely come out of their stance and just point, and then you see people that kind of finish through and you're like, see the difference? Do you see the difference between what people are trying to mold you into? They're trying to make it sure that this is all the time. Even when we're not serious, we're fucking serious. And you just see it in everything that they do, the way that they talk, the way that they come back. And they're like, I love work. I love to go to work all day. And I'm like, oh shit, you're bought in already, aren't you? And they're like, we ran 1,600 some plays. And how many did you guys do? And it's funny because one of the guys was like, well, we did about 8 a day. How many did you guys do? And he was like, we did 60. We did 60 plays a day per person. How many did you do? He's like, 8 as a team. I was like, see the difference? Are we all understanding why this guy comes in and goes, you've been doing it wrong your whole life? Because remember, when we were in Pee-wee, high school, and college, what was it? More is more, is more is more. And God damn it, if you can't keep up, then you have to fall behind and we'll let you go. Goodbye. That's how it's supposed to be done. And you see these guys and I'm like, man, they're already excited. And just the fact that the ones that are from the Chargers have gotten a lot quieter this week. And I'm like, hey, are you guys okay? And they're like, we're just getting ready. We're getting ready for this war. They're like, we got Oakland week 1. We know what the fuck we're doing. And I was like, oh shit, he's got them really deep in the weeds. Like he's so down the rabbit hole with them. And it's awesome because one of the guys didn't think he had to go back because he's like, year 3. Comes up to me and goes, hey, Harbaugh called me, told me I got to come back for the young guy stuff. I go, oh yeah, that's Jim. Everybody's going to work. Everybody that can be here is going to be here, is going to do it.
If you don't
right?
have a credited season, you can show up as a rookie.
So I was like, hey, listen, half of the battle is showing up super excited. Because if you show up and go, why the fuck am I here? You're gone. he's
It's
gonna
showing
get
up with an
released, right?
enthusiasm unknown
to mankind. I tell my kids every day, dude, I'm telling you, this shit is so electrifying. It makes you so ready to go. And you watch their film, and I'm like, I could do it. I could come back.
Okay.
Can I play with you guys?
I said 10 wins after listening to Alex for the last 5 minutes. I'm going to make it 12, maybe 13.
Are you going to say division winners? I think that would be more of a hot take. More of a hot take would be
maybe Kansas City's
Chiefs,
still a
dude,
threat,
the
dude.
Chiefs are wild. Yeah.
that they're going to win 12 games and win the AFC West.
Let's go.
That's
I'm
a
in. I'm all in.
for my
Hey,
hot take. Yeah.
put it on the neck.
But dude, like real quick,
Are you going to claim them? Are you claiming them as a Super Bowl net tack right now in July?
Here we go.
So I'll say this. So my wife, I think, has 23 tattoos. I have 0. She got her first one, like, I don't know. I mean, her first like real one, not like, like a letter or something, a handful of years ago, maybe 7 years ago. And she's like, "You're gonna get one at some point." And she keeps giving me ideas. Like we were in Vegas for a few days last week. She goes, "Are we gonna tattoo in Vegas? Macadac?
Should
have.
have.
You gonna do a tattoo?
You should have done Macadac on your shoulder.
Listen, I know I've got some meaningful, like my parents have both died. Like I've got some ideas, but honey, we got to start with that Chargers tattoo because they won 10 games. They won the division. It's crazy.
I'm doing it.
We're gonna put some more parameters on the tattoo bet this year as well.
Ooh.
I can't pick the Cardinals again.
No, like if you
that was bullshit.
If you pick a team that finishes below 500, there has to be a punishment.
Oh yeah, you get
Like,
punished if you do well.
We're not gonna. You can't pick the like. You don't want to pick the like. Hey, the Chiefs, right? Because then you're getting Arrowhead right there. But you also can't be like, New England, right? Because then you're just it's a total cop out. So there's gonna be some parameters set for the tattoo bet.
If you are below the cop out threshold, then somebody else on the show gets to pick a UFL tattoo.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
Or a Canadian football.
Love that. Arena football, the Omaha Beef.
Is that a real team?
Yeah, 100%. The Omaha Beef. That is
Beef?
a real. That is
Listen,
a real
I would get that
football
tattooed
What's
on
their
me.
logo?
I would.
It's a big bowl. It's a big old bowl, dude.
Oh, dude,
it's
I'm
literally
in.
the Omaha
I am
Beef.
in. I have one on
they've
my
got
back
like
already.
they've got like a Longhorn edition of their. That's a cool logo, actually.
There you go.
Dude, I'm all about it.
I might
Beef.
just get that. Period. Maybe that's my
Hey,
first.
so
tattoo.
is this what we're making it? If you go below 500, you have to get a tattoo.
You have
from
to pick
somebody
a
else?
team that's going to be at least above 500.
Okay. Or at least try it. You think is really going to be like you said.
Because you can't just pick like Mackey was a total cop out last year.
Yeah.
Like, the Cardinals, right? Like
Minnesota.
I had Jaguars and you
I
had
had Miami.
Dolphins, like legit chances. But like Mackey just totally pussed out, so we're not allowing that this year.
and it's for Super Bowl. Okay, we'll hone.
We'll
this.
get into
We'll
that.
come back. We'll come back.
August,
We'll come
But
back.
I'm just putting that.
Not
out
a hot
there.
take. Not a hot take.
So on the
I
Chargers
don't think it's
front,
a hot
dude,
take either.
here's the thing about the Chargers, and Jay, you jump in here, but I believe that the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, not that you can't dig yourself back out. I mean, my Vikings were 1-4, and then they got back to 500. So like you can dig yourself out, but if you're a team that's if you're transitioning to a new coach, like if you start the season well, I think it carries. And you guys have been on teams.
Absolutely.
So home game against the Raiders to start. Not a gimme. The Raiders are feisty. Antonio
Not
Pierce.
after what they said too about Devontae Adams. Did you see that? They were calling him out about like being old or something, and now he's like, okay, it's on, dude. The Chargers social media called him old, and
Chargers social media is pretty hilarious.
They go after guys.
funny, dude.
But it's a home game, kind of a coin flip game, and then it's at Panthers in week 2. I'm just saying, I don't want to get too far ahead. You could start 2-0,
Fair.
Harbaugh vibes, enthusiasm unknown to mankind, whatever.
Who's got
For
it
sure.
better than us?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a hot take. The only question then becomes is, there's a little bit of a running back feud going on there right now, right? You see J.K. Dobbins came out with a diss track of Gus Edwards.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little bit of a running back feud. But that's the kind of stuff. And then also, I still can't name a weapon for them on the outside.
It's bad. Yeah.
It's like their weapons
Quentin
on the
Johnson.
outside. Quentin Johnson had a terrible rookie campaign. They got rid of Keenan Allen, right? Like, so for me, it's like if the run game doesn't carry the load like we think it's going to, where do they turn to? How do they fix that? They don't have, Booney, you guys had Crabtree. Like, you guys had some dudes on the outside that could go up and get a football.
Yeah.
That's my one concern with them, as if things don't go well on the run game initially, right? Like we said, out the gates quickly, or you fall behind, and now you're like, hey, we're down 10 points. We can't control the clock with the run game. We got to get back into it. How does Justin Herbert take those weapons and make something out of them? That's my only real concern with the Chargers right now.
To be fair, though, and this might be the CTA in me, but I can't really remember a lot of receivers the year that we had Crab before we got Anquan and before we got Randy. And that's why I'm kind of like, there's a lot of times where we were like, who are they going to throw it to? And like, listen, they're just going to be pounding their fist in your face. When you get that under control, then be ready for the play action. If you can get that under control, then be ready for them to spread you as wide as possible, and then they're just going to slowly do this death cut thing with you. Like, the one thing about them is they're like, if we don't have to be sexy, we're not going to be. If we don't have to be this air raid, throw it 400 yards, like, who gives a shit?
I completely agree with you.
And
but
that's when they were
as I do.
No, I do.
The run game doesn't always come out of the blocks like you want it to, especially early in the year.
You look at this O-line though. They're fucking big boys. And I mean, they're some big motherfuckers. They're big. And that's why you're like, okay, I get what you did here. I get exactly why Gus Edwards is here and J.K. Dobbins. I get it at the outside. We're a little sketchy, but dude, we could always lean on the O-line. We can lean on running backs. We can make things look flat. And Giro's one of the best at deception. He was one of the originals of being like, the fullback's going to go in motion because no one's going to know what the hell he's doing, but he's just getting more outside of everybody, and they're looking at him like, where the fuck's he going? And he's like, I'm out leveraging you guys, stupid. Like, he was one of the ones that come up with all this, and we were like, wow, that's fucking brilliant. Shit. What else you got in that brain of yours, bud? Like, he was the first dude. He pulled Vernon Davis off the line on a waggle, but he was on the front side, and they had him pull all the way back, and he got lost in the traffic. Ended up being like an 80-yard touchdown because, like, just the way he's like, they won't see it. They're going to look at this. They're going to focus on this guy, and they're not going to see this hit him in the face. And that's why I'm like, I've been in this offense. I know how they make it sizzle. Yes, it takes a lot on the O-line. You're going to be tough, but at the same time, you're going to build a fucking reputation out of it, of being a bunch of badasses. And when you show up week 12, if you've been rolling some teams, you'll be surprised how many people are like, hey, just let me know if you're deucing, okay? I just want to know if the deuce is coming. I can handle the B, but I can't handle the deuce. You're like, yeah, I got you. No, I don't. Definitely not telling you when that deuce is coming.
Yeah. We'll see. I think it's going to be a little feast or famine for them, if I'm being honest.
Sure.
Everything's either going to be rolling, and it's going to be great, or they're going to really struggle because they can't throw the football. It's one of the two.
And maybe Justin Herbert is a guy that can take someone that we aren't talking about and make them a 900-yard receiver too, right? Like, yeah, it's going to be on him to maybe do that. Okay, the second one. I'm going to do it this way so that if Boone wants to jump in with an immediate answer, I'm gonna build the case for like 30 seconds, then I'll deliver the hot take.
Smart.
And then you guys jump in.
Okay. Learning as we go.
I'm just excited.
So we've got a franchise on our hands that hasn't properly developed a quarterback in 70 years. A division that includes two of the best teams in the conference. And I think a head coach who's a defensive head coach that might even be close to a hot seat. And yet a lot of people think they're just magically going to take a next step into playoff contention. This is finally the year, 10 wins. So here's the hot take. Is this a hot take? Firing the head coach is a more likely scenario for the Chicago Bears than making the playoffs this year.
No. I don't think that's a hot take. I think the Bears have a better chance of making the playoffs. I think when they drafted Caleb Williams and said, okay, the coach bought himself at least 3 more years.
So it is a hot take then in your mind.
Yeah. It's
a little too far.
A little bit, just because he's right. He's going to be gifted this whole, hey, you have a brand new rookie.
At least this
there.
year.
Rookie mistakes are going to happen. But at the same time, it's like you said with the Harbaugh thing. If he catches fire early, and he's got a lot of weapons around him, I think there's a ton. Don't get me wrong. He does, right? The thing that scares me is, can he not get fucking hit? Anthony Richardson found out the fastest. You are not better than any defender on that field, even the worst one.
But it's easier than college.
It's not. Don't fucking lie to me, Anthony. You're a liar, okay? They can track you down, and they're insane. And so now it's like, how creative can they get in Chicago? And at the same time, if they're not creative this year and it's just a fucking massive dumpster fire, then yes, he gets fired for sure.
I don't think it will be. Though.
No, he will. I don't know. We don't know what it's. How creative can you be? We broke down their film last year. Remember, we were breaking down their film, and guys are going everywhere, and we're like, I ain't never seen this fucking play in my life, and I've seen a lot of plays. Like, I don't know why this guy's coming free. I don't know. This is my whole problem with them. The one thing it takes in this league to be great is to have a great old line. You have to be confident in the guys in front of you. If those guys are sending dudes through, and you're a rookie, and welcome to the league, you're the first pick this year, dude, there's going to be a lot of criticism. And that's why, for me, I'm not making any judgments on Chicago. I want to see what you do week 1. How creative do you get, and does he get hit?
I think it'd be more likely they make the playoffs. Like, because, again, you look at it's
a tough division, too,
dude.
It's
a tough division. But I think a wild card spot, is where they'd have to find themselves. But gosh, dude, you talk about the weapons on that offense.
Are we stupid?
Okay, here's a hot take on top.
Maybe
of the
it's not a hot take, dude.
They've got some weapons. Are we sure that the Bears aren't still the 4th team in that division? Are you that sure that the Vikings are worse than the Bears?
It's
a lot of people are kind of
who's the starter?
Vikings.
Who are you saying the starters for the Vikings?
Sam Darnold.
It'll be
obviously.
Darnold.
Then I don't know. I might give the Bears more.
Here's where I give I give it to the Bears on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think like you talk weapon for weapon offensively, pretty equal. Right. Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson. You're talking Keenan Allen, DJ Moore.
Dude, they might have a little bit more over there.
Roma Dunze and Cole Kmet, and then Swift on offense, like, and Caleb Williams, like, okay,
that's a lot.
That's pretty damn good. But then you flip it on the defensive side of the ball, like Chicago's defense at the end of last year when they made the trade for Sweat, flipped a switch.
Which was huge. Yeah,
like it flipped a switch, and they took it to a whole new level. If they can carry that over, it'll allow them to live with some of the mistakes that the offense may have early on.
Correct.
Like, and that's where I give the nod a little bit more to Chicago being the 3rd team in that division versus the Vikings.
That's totally fair. And now that you said that, I will totally agree with you on that.
Schedule matters here too, by the way. Just on the flip side of my point about the Chargers. So Bears with a rookie quarterback start primetime at the Houston Texans in week 1 on the road. And then the next week it's at Indianapolis, 2nd road game. That's a Colts team that had a playoff spot in the bag, 9 wins, and then lost it in week 18. So 2 road games right away against good teams as a rookie quarterback. And then, okay, coming back home for week 3 against the Rams and Sean McVay.
Ooh.
So it's
a tough start.
But hey, Aaron Donald's not there. I don't want to hear about that team anymore.
Here's the thing, though. I think if I'm head coach of the Bears, right, I'm going, hey, boys, we need to split 1-on-1, right, like to start the year. Like we
you don't
win.
say that though.
You don't say it, but like in his mind,
in your mind,
like talking to upper management.
We go 1-1. I'm cool.
Talking to upper
Never fucking
management,
heard that.
like talking to the GMs, talking to like the
different.
owners, right? You're like, listen, we just need to split these 2 home or road openers,
Yeah.
right? Like if we can get back to Chicago at 1-on-1 and kind of start over on our season at home, we'll be in okay. You start 0-2, man, that's a tough place to be.
Really tough.
That's a really tough place to be, and just like mentally, everyone's starting to question things already. It's early, but if you can get back to Chicago at 1-on-1, I'll feel pretty good about them being able to kind of like, okay, we learned how to win on the road, we learned how to lose on the road. Now, how do we figure out play at home? Like, I don't know. I'm really, really intrigued by this Bears team, man.
Dude, that first game against Houston, I had no idea. I am so excited for that game now.
Prime time?
Oh my, cannot wait.
Is that the
Legion
Sunday?
is calling my name. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, that's the Sunday night game, boys, to start the.
That's a for sure.
Slate. Oh, let's go.
C.J. Stroud versus Caleb Williams.
Dude, D'Amico
It's time
Ryans.
for some football.
We're so close. My fucking god, so close.
I'm already starting to get my trips booked for the season,
So
figuring out what
excited.
games I'm going to. I'm going Bengals Giants Sunday Night Football. J. Mike and Cordell play against each other.
Let's go. What
I
week
got
is that one?
booked. It's the October 13th weekend.
He's a guy.
Hey, if they show
be
you
in-
on the
I'll be-
sidelines, you will.
won't-
You're
Am I Sean Stiletto?
suspended.
Do I look
You
like
are
Sean
suspended
Stiletto
from this
in my-
show.
In my
If you get
fedora?
caught, no, if you get caught at all on TV, you are getting
I'm
suspended.
not going to get caught on TV.
All right,
I'm
I'll
not
be
that
watching.
guy.
I'm
not
gonna
that
be
guy, pal.
watching.
But then I'm also going to go to Kansas City Bengals when he's in, when they're there. So I'll be in Kansas City for that one. And then I'm going to pick. I think I'm going to go Bengals when they play the Browns in December
Where at?
Let's go.
in Cincy. So I'm getting some trips booked. I got to find my time to go down to New Orleans, see my guy down there, see the Saints. So I'm starting to get travel booked for the fall, and that's when I started doing that this weekend with my business partners and started getting really, really excited. Like, okay, football's right around the corner.
Let's go.
By the way, we're like 2 weeks away from pad pickup for 7th grade football. I can't wait. You have no idea. Fuck Sunday night football. How about a little Thursday night, huh? Over at EP.
After the 6th grade dominant championship game, I'm excited.
You
to
coming
see
this
how
year, Mac?
You motivated.
You gonna? The boys
I
want
went
to
to the
know.
championship game.
No, you need to show up
Send
more.
me, send me a schedule.
You need to be our mascot.
We'll get there.
Text me a schedule.
You need to get
Be your
people hyped for
mascot.
us. You're our guy. Everyone keeps asking, is Mac?
The cardboard spinner in the parking lot, like this way, this way.
Everybody's like, is Mackie coming back? I'm like, yeah, he'll be back.
Okay, here's the third one.
Hit me.
Is this a hot take?
Build your case.
So
build your case.
Build
I
it.
saw this graphic on social media. There's no attribution. I have no idea who created this, but so last year there was one running back Christian McCaffrey that went over 1,200 yards. 20 years ago in 2003, there were 14 individual running backs, bell cows, that had at least 1,200 yards rushing. So here's my hot take. The NFL was a better, more entertaining product when it had more bell cow running backs.
Not a hot take. I love physical football. I love it. I think it's great. I think you're right, Mackie. They're getting away from it. It's becoming this air raid. I'm going to throw it. I'm going to shoot and gun it and all this fucking nonsense.
It's overexposing bad quarterback play, too.
For sure. And costing teams games at times because they throw it too much. And you're like, hey, you could have just given it to that guy and he'd have fucking ran over everybody.
When we say entertaining, are we talking about from a fan's perspective? Or
yes.
are we talking about it from like former players' perspective? Because I think those are two very different things.
I only have one perspective. So
it's a fan.
I think from a fan's perspective, because we have to remember we live in a world of fantasy football. Right, fantasy football rules.
But fantasy football was more fun.
You would have just had more running backs.
Dominant.
Yeah.
It's not,
dude.
I
remember watching Jamal Lewis run for the fucking.
Oh, trust me,
Baltimore.
I remember
and you
watching
were like,
Priest Holmes.
yeah, dude.
With the Chiefs.
You'd get excited, like, oh god, he's gonna fucking hit him. Like now, it's like,
Terrell Davis, Clinton Portis. Like, trust me, I remember.
Oh, you just named 4 of the guys on this list, by the way.
I mean, I can.
I remember. We were watching all of them, dude.
Tiki Barber, like Tiki Barber, was toting the rock at one point.
Was Mike Allstott on there at one point? Come on,
now 1,300-yard rusher. What's wrong with you?
Not in 03.
Like Allstott like that. Like Allstott was a fucking animal, and he'd have eaten you.
Run up your ass. That's right.
But no, I mean, I do miss the bell cow running back era. I do. I think that's
not a hot take.
The college game has evolved to where that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Like the Derrick Henrys are the unicorns, where it's like the guys coming out of college because there's this. You're seeing more statistically of the drop off of running backs. And I think a lot of it also is in the last 20 years, guys have gotten bigger, faster, stronger. And so the beating that those running backs take week in and week out has gotten significantly worse.
Yep.
Right? Like it was Ray Lewis, it was Brian Urlacher, it was those dudes. Like there was like one team that was like, this dude will rip your teeth out. Yeah. Now, dude, everyone is headhunters. Like they're all 6'3", 235, 240 pounds, running a 4.7, and they're just going to lay the wood every single time.
And they're smart.
Those guys got hurt so much, like guys just stopped paying them. Yeah. Right? Have you guys watched the Hard Knocks with the Giants?
Just some of the
clips.
I watched the first one, and it's really interesting. I mean, because again, that's my world, right? So I was fascinated. Like they don't show a lot of it, but like they were talking about like, hey, are we paying this running back $12 million for a $40 million quarterback to hand off to him, or what's the market? We have other holes to fill, and it's just amazing the devaluation of the running back. But it's all because the stuff we're talking about. It's not a run first league anymore.
They're great because he does the whole like, yeah, we're not paying Daniel Jones $40 million to hand off to a $12 million running back, and then there's another clip where he's on the phone with Saquon saying, hey, we're gonna let you hit free agency, but circle back to us.
Let us know.
Like, can you give us?
Can we get a guarantee on that?
Can you give us your word? The answer is always no. Like you promise nothing because the team promises you nothing.
Yeah, dude.
I think you're right. Just a few bell cows. Just sprinkle in a few guys. Running backs are unrecognizable.
Is there a bell cow back in the league right now?
Yeah, McCaffrey's the only one, right?
For sure.
I mean, is Derrick Henry too old?
No, I would have said 2 years ago he is, but I don't know that he's still that bell cow guy. I mean, I think he's still good for 15 rushes a game.
Speaking of Chargers social media, did you see what they responded back to Austin Eckler's tweet?
No.
So Austin Eckler had a comment that was like, why'd you leave the Chargers? They were like, they're looking for a back that you can hand it off to 30 times a game and pound it. That's just not me. And the Chargers responded and goes, how dare we ask a running back to run the ball? And I was like, wow, you guys are ruthless, dude.
Ruthless.
Like, they are just ruthless.
I want to meet these people. Jim probably was like, do whatever you want. Have fun with it.
Dude, the Chargers social media has been on point for many years now.
It's way better than their football team product the last 5 years.
I might get a Twitter just to follow them.
They're great. Amazing. They are great.
Yeah. Okay, big boy question of the week here. You already brought up, I think Netflix came up at one point. We were talking about the wide receiver series that drops today, by the way, with Justin Jefferson and I think George Kittle is part of that, even though he's not a wide receiver. So here's my question. So the NFL they did quarterback last summer, and now they're doing wide receiver. So if the next one was offensive line or left guard or whatever it is, let's call it offensive line. who would you want to see? Like, which handful of current offensive linemen would you want to see followed around for a season on Netflix?
Oh, that's a great question. Who would I want to watch?
Yeah. Because I think it's a combination of
Trent's
who's entertaining.
Trent would be
Williams,
fun to watch for sure.
Trent Williams has to be in there. I'd just be super curious to like what his weeks look like now.
Yeah.
Right, like how does he prepare? How does he practice? How does he spend his off time? Because I know I had a buddy that played with him in Washington in 13, 14 when he was there, and he said that Trent had, when you'd walk into his house, he had like a 9-foot statue of a bronze silverback gorilla. Like right when you walked into the house, like just this massive bronze silverback gorilla statue that had like the wrapping staircase that like went around it. And so like, dude, I think Trent would be a super entertaining guy to watch. Like I'd love to see kind of like what makes him tick throughout the week, how he prepares. Like I think he'd be a really fun one.
Tyron Smith would be one of the best, I think. I would love to see what he does and how he trains and how he prepares for what he prepares for, especially because he's been doing it for such a high level. And he's one of those guys that when he's out there, man, he's a great technician. And in order to be a great technician, you have to practice it year round and you have to keep up on it because it'll start to fall away quickly. He'd be another fun one. I think another one I'd want to watch would be Panay. So Panay from Detroit. I think that would be awesome to see how he trains.
I think the way you'd have to do it is you'd have to pick whole O-lines to watch because
so
I don't think
you could break it.
I think about if you were again, Alex. Think about that if you were sitting in our room in 2016, right, and Matt Khalil was getting featured on Netflix's Left Tackle. How much shit would that guy get?
So it'd be a unit.
Right, like
focus.
Everyone in the room would just murder you. But if you picked a whole O-line to follow,
then nobody can get
5 starters. Like I think that would be more entertaining because also we're kind of boring, right? O-linemen are not like super fun people to follow around. Like we have our moments, but I think if you followed like, hey, we're gonna follow the Detroit O-line,
Detroit would be the best.
The Detroit O-line, the Philly O-line, and the Niner O-line for the year. And we're going to watch how they work together and what they go out and they get beers after the games or they're with their families. Like I think that would be
I like that idea.
That would be the
awesome show. Yeah,
like,
for sure.
See like how they interact in the meeting rooms. Like all that stuff would be awesome. I would watch that, inject it into
for
my
sure.
veins. Let's watch it. Let's go.
Just to see how fake they were on TV because we'd be like, that's bullshit. That coach didn't really mean that. He's fucking lying.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to go back to quarterback because I
don't think anyone wants to do it. I don't think the quarterbacks. I mean, they tried to do it.
Joe Burrow turned it down last year, didn't he?
Joe Burrow turned it down. Jalen Hurts turned it down. Josh Allen turned it down. Like, I think people saw how in depth they really went into their lives. I don't think a lot of people liked that. Like, I think it was almost a little too behind the scenes on some
Was it
guys.
bad for any of the guys? I think it was good for Cousins. Like Cousins
terrible for Mariota. They painted Mariota out like a villain, dude.
Well, he did. Yeah. He left the team halfway through the.
But we won't know the real story.
Right. There's more to the story.
There's more to that story. I guarantee you there's more to that story.
Yeah.
But because of the way Netflix painted it, that's forever and always going to be who Marcus Mariota was. And there's conversations, there's things like that happen throughout the year all the time that I think some guys are like, ugh, if something happens to me, like, do I want the world to see it? Like, think about if it was Joe Burrow and Joe Burrow was like calf, wrist, like that whole piece. It's like, I don't want a camera crew following me around as I'm having my surgery on my wrist and now I'm not helping with the team. Like, it's just when you're doing it live like that, football's just so unpredictable. I don't think guys like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Think if you're on the verge of a new contract, like Baker Mayfield in a contract year would be perfect because then you got nothing to lose anyways. Your play on the field is going to lead to your contract. I mean, that's why it was good for Kirk. So Kirk's been kind of this man of mystery. You know, he's like this corporate quarterback, and now you show him hanging out with his kids and going through all this treatment, and he
humanizes them, which is great because they let you know that they're not robots.
Yeah, and I think his play on the field is what gets him the $40 million. But like, is there a slice of what this guy seems like a mature adult, and he's reliable enough. He's going to put the work in.
No,
I think at times though that
doesn't
series,
affect. I promise you that doesn't affect the contract.
no, but I think at times that show may have asked a lot more questions about whether he was all in or not. Because remember when he was like, "Oh, I don't train."
The Tuesday
it just
thing, like,
became
how
a big
much did
thing.
that blow up?
Like it's just a big question that everybody has to answer, all because you're on some fucking show, dude. Like it's like nobody would have known this had this show not been here. Like that's why it exposes a lot of the truth that I think we are kind of like, hey, don't let them see that, right? A lot of it too is Jay makes a great point. Like if you get hurt, the last thing anyone wants to see following you is a fucking camera, because everyone's kind of looking at you like, what do you mean you're hurt? Fucking get better, bitch. Figure it out. And then all of a sudden some camera crew's like, ooh, that's juicy. You're like, dude, what the fuck? Thought we were here to hurt people.
No, I do. Listen, I'm all about the Netflix documentaries following stuff. Like I watched the golf one, I watched the quarterback one, I obviously watched the F1. Like I watch all those because I think.
Did you watch Sprint?
Dude, I haven't watched Sprint yet. That's the next one on my list.
It's phenomenal.
That's the next one on my list.
It follows like the best 100 and 200 meter men and women, and they're mostly United States and Jamaica.
Yeah.
And dude, I know more about Jamaican sprinters right now.
Yeah.
I want the Olympics to start tomorrow just so I can follow these people.
Oh,
dude, the
It's
F1
wild.
documentary is what got me hook, line, and sinker. Like I live for F1 on Sundays right now. Like it's the one thing that I'm like excited about. Like I went to church. And it's the Grand Prix started at 9 p.m. Central on Sunday. And I did the whole, like, text my buddies, like, don't text me, no spoilers. Like, I want to get home, it's recorded, and watch it. Like, I don't, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't. If it's not football, get away
oh
from
my
me.
God.
Right? But, like, dude, I'm so locked into golf and F1 right now. Like, and a lot of it, the wife likes watching golf, too, because she watched Scotty Scheffler, and she watched McIlroy and Brooks
Joel
Koepka,
Damon.
Like, yeah, all those guys. Poor Joel. His poor caddy's just begging him not to be a piece of shit. Like, please, I need to feed my family.
Imagine, so Booney. So there's
I can't imagine.
This golfer Joel Damon this is like 2 summers ago, the first season. I think they followed him up for the second season too.
Yeah.
But he's like the 150th ranked golfer in the world, so he's kind of like just playing for his tour card. And his best friend is his caddy, and his best friend, and the caddy is like, you know, making 15% of the tournament winnings, and this dude keeps missing the cut every single week. And they at one point they were like on a private jet crying because his caddy's like, dude, I have to make money, man. Like I need to like.
He's like, I can't give a shit. Yeah. He's like, I can't give a shit more than you. Like I can't do that. Like, dude, yeah. But then you got Scotty Scheffler's caddy, who just this year has made like $1.2 million.
Ridiculous, dude. I saw that.
Just being like 8 iron. Yeah, 8 iron.
Sounds good. Yeah,
Sure. Sure.
6 iron, huh? You're fired.
You're fired.
But yeah, no.
Oh, man.
I think if you follow it all back, wrap it up. If you follow an entire O-line, it would be super interesting. To
So
watch
fun.
the dynamics.
You would love
watch
it.
the dynamics. Watch how the guys interact with each other. Watch when a guy gets hurt and how they have to elevate a second string guy and throw him in there and how he goes. Like the O-line room is its own inner room. That'd be the way to do it. Because I don't think any O-lineman would allow just one guy to get followed without just,
Crushing them.
Crushed. Just superstar, ding! Every time they walk,
Every day,
every single day. If I saw a camera, there'd be a camera fine. Like there'd be so many. You'd just get absolutely crushed.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, before we get to dumb football questions, do you guys have any mics to throw out here? Okay.
I have one after Jay.
By the way, for the audience that might be new, who's the mic is where we identify, like an offensive lineman would, a center, identify things around the football world that are on our minds here. So Jay, go ahead.
Mine is, unfortunately, Malik Nabers. Malik.
Oh, man.
I don't have Twitter. What happened?
Please listen. A couple things. One, if you're going to go to a strip club, right?
No.
First of all, don't do it, right? Like don't do it. It's not worth it. If you're going to go, though, say you bypass Sirles rule number 1, which is don't go, and you decide to go, take Sirles rule number 2. Don't have your buddy film it and post it on the internet. Right, like especially throwing bands. I mean, not ones, hundreds, right? And just making it rain, and it's very clearly you, and you very clearly see the camera. Like you look into it and do the like with your grill thing. Like, dude, that's a terrible look, right? Like, again, don't go. But if you're gonna go, just
can I add a third rule?
Internet. What
rule number 3? If you're gonna go because you know that Malik Nabers is gonna be there showering the room with $100 bills. You can collect some money.
You always want to go with the richer guy, right? You never want to be the richest guy at the strip club. But like, it's just, I mean, that kind of stuff is just the negative the negative stuff as a rookie that you just don't want, because now it's like the first time of something hits, people can point back to like, well, how focused is he? And it adds another layer of distraction that you don't need to have when guys live their life all the time. Just there's certain things to post, there's certain things not to post, and that's definitely one that should not have been out on the internet.
The two biggest dunks I saw, just people like retweeting it and whatever, were, gee, I wonder how NFL players go broke so quickly after their career. And then the other one was the Odell Beckham Jr. The boat photo.
The boat, the love boat.
The love boat, part 2.
Gosh.
Yeah, no, I agree, dude. That's a bad look, especially when you haven't caught a ball yet in our league. I
hate that stuff, dude. It makes me sad for the player. Like, it makes me sad for the organization, because now there's just questions they got to answer. And it's just like, dude, I get it. If you want to go, but just don't film it and put it on the freaking internet.
I never
understood. Like, dude, what's the point? There's nothing good that's going to come from that.
You know what it is?
There's zero good.
Here's what it is. They
is
didn't grow up like you and I did, and Mackey, where we didn't fucking film shit, because coaches were constantly like, hey, just a thought. If there's no pictures, there's no fucking proof, right? And you'd be like, ooh, that's fucking smart.
Dude, Bo Pelini took Twitter away from us in college.
Yeah.
Like, literally had a team meeting. He read a tweet from, I'll never forget this meeting, dude. It was so funny.
Hit me.
So we had a guy, his name was Toby. I won't say his last name. His name was Toby. And Bo pulls up, and like, we'd been on kind of thin ice with Twitter for a while, like, because people would tweet dumb stuff. And so Bo was like, one more chance, and it's gone. It's done. So all of a sudden we have a random team meeting, and all of us are like, gosh damn it, who did it? Like, someone did it.
Who did it?
He has it printed out, right? He has a sheet of paper printed out. He goes, who's Big Tobes 48?
Big Tobes.
Toby stands up. He goes, it's me, coach. He goes, Lamborghini Mercy. Your chick, she's so thirsty, sitting in your sidecar with your girl. She trying to jerk me. And he's like, what the fuck is this, Toby? And he goes, it's song lyrics, coach. It's just song lyrics. He's like, I don't give a shit. Throws the paper down. He's like, Twitter's done. It's gone. One more you guys tweet. You're out of here. And so for like 6 weeks, gone. Every football player. Like, to the point where all the media was like, where are all the football players? Like, what happened? Like, how come they're just off the face of the earth? Twitter was
grid.
Gone. And it all because freaking Toby decided he wanted to tweet out song lyrics from Lamborghini Mercy on his freaking Twitter account, dude. And all of us are listening to him read this, and Bo's furious, right? And he's notorious for being a hothead. And we're all sitting there trying not to just lose it laughing, because all of us know the song, right?
Dude.
Ironically, Toby's just literally just like, stone. It's just a song, coach.
Coach. Ironically, one of the great Twitter accounts of all time is the fake Bo Pelini, faux
100%
Pelini.
the faux Pelini.
Oh, the faux Pelini?
Dude, with the cat? Yeah. But yeah, Pelini straight up took Twitter away from us like we were 10-year-olds. Like, took it to our room, grounded us. Like, could you imagine? You can't do that to kids now.
Oh, my God, no.
Like,
dude,
they'd be like, what do you mean? I'm making money off my Twitter account.
It's my NIL pipeline, my social media.
But yeah, young kids.
Malik, don't fuck it up.
Don't do it.
Come on.
Just don't go to strip
clubs. You know,
there's better ways to spend your money, man. There's better ways to spend your money.
Yeah, you don't need them. The strip clubs.
Nope. They don't love you. They don't love you.
Booney,
all right. I do, and I'm excited for this mic, and I have to say this. My first mic today has to be my mom, because it's her birthday.
Hey.
Absolutely.
Aww. Shout out Booney's mom.
I'm super excited about it. Big 6-0. Love her to death. I know. Called her this morning. She was working like a beast. So I just wanted to say happy birthday to my mom, because I know she watches the show, and I would tell her I love
Mama
her.
Boone.
She's a fucking beast, dude. She raised some tough dudes, but she is the best. She did it alone too, so I love her for that. Can
I tell a quick mama grandma story?
Of course.
So the first time we were sitting in the meeting room in 2016, I think it was grandma. And he's like, oh, my grandma's calling me.
Oh yeah, because I was raised by my mom, my grandma.
Yeah, and I was like, we're like, is your grandma like you? Right, like that was the question. Like you. And he goes, oh, watch this. The fuck's up, grandma? And she's like, what's up, you motherfucker? And I was just like, wow, like they are twins. Like,
that's my Nana.
Twins.
So check this out. Nana's been calling me the last couple of days, right? And so I've been calling her right back, and I'm like, hey, what's up, Nana? Everything good? And she's like, everything's fine. Why are you calling? I'm like, because you just called me. I didn't call you. All right, call me later.
Okay.
I love you. Like 5 minutes later, I get a missed call from her. I call her back. Nana, is everything okay? You sure everything is okay? I'm fine. Stop fucking calling me then. What the fuck don't you? No, I'm just kidding. I love her. She's the best. Those two women went through hell and back with me, man. You have no idea how many times they bailed me out of jail, literally bailed me out. And they did it, man. They did it right. They were tough as fuck, and I love them to death for it. So I wanted to say happy birthday to my mom. She's the best. But my real Mike is this coach. Had I had this coach, I would have been fucking dead. Mike Gundy. Somehow it's okay because I've done it 1,000 times, had 4 beers, drove home. Listen, you know me. I'm all about being a dumbass and saying stupid shit that nobody gives a fuck about. But the minute that you get up there and you joke about something like that, even a guy like me has to step in and be like, you have to be fired. I'm sorry. You have to go. You can absolutely, and I'm telling you, I'm the biggest fucking nutball, jerk off, give a fuck, nothing. But if I had heard my coach been like, I drink 4 beers all the time and drive, I'd be like, that is the most unprofessional fucking thing I've ever heard from somebody that is in a position of power. You are fucked, Mike Gundy. Like, I don't think I could ever watch his team anymore. And dude, once again, Oli, what the fuck are you doing? Drinking and driving. Like, dude, you know how many fucking schools will pay for your Uber? Do you know how many teams give you thousands of dollars in Uber credits because they're just like, hey, please don't drink a beer and get behind the wheel. We will give you free money for you to get home safely. We'll come pick you up ourselves. We have services that will drive your car home. There is never an excuse anymore for anybody to get in trouble for dumb fucking shit. Dude, I read that. Dude, I started getting hot. Because I thought about
I thought it was a parody. I thought it was a parody account. The first time I read it, I thought it was like, oh, someone's making fun of Mike Gundy again, like, 'cause he says outrageous things. But then as I read through it, I was like, oh my gosh, he's real. Because Boone, you and I have said it forever. The number one quality in a college head coach, in my opinion, is not X's and O's. It's not like, are you a leader of young men?
Correct.
Are you a developer of young men? Are you making the young men that don't go off into the NFL, that are going to go out into the real world, like, did you help them grow up into being mature adults?
Correct.
When you say stuff like that, you're setting a message for these guys of things that are okay that are absolutely not okay. And if you hear it from your head coach, it trickles down, and it's a culture. And I mean, I have respect for what Gundy's done. He's been there a long time, and like, he's done some good things. But that's the kind of stuff that you have to know better than to say. You can't say stuff like that. And I'm surprised he still has a job. I'm being
the fact that they didn't punish that kid. The fact that he's like, oh well, it's okay. Like, dude, here we go making excuses again. This is the participation trophy award.
He got unlucky versus he did something he shouldn't do. Right?
That's bad.
Like,
that's bad coaching.
I mean, he just got caught. It's like, and you're allowed. What do we say? It's either coached or allowed.
Correct.
Right? It's either coached or allowed.
I agree. And Jay and I have talked about this, and so many people forget this. All those college kids you're watching, 1% of them are making it past that point, maybe even less than 1%. So what are the other 99.5 doing? They have to go out and get real jobs and be good people. And that's the job of a coach. That's why, in my opinion, NIL has fucked this whole thing up. It has become a whole new joke. Like, when we went to school, you had to go to class. People could joke like, oh, you never went to class. Dude, there were dudes sitting outside every day. And if you weren't there, you got a fucking phone call. And it was like, dude, I swear the next phone call is going straight to Tress. And you were like, Coach, I am parking my truck. I got stuck. I am literally walking in the building. Yeah, well, your class started 30 seconds ago. Where the fuck are you? And it's like, dude, like, now it's not like that. And that's why I get so mad at all this shit, is because we allow this. And here's a coach that's like, well, we've all done it. Yeah, well, not everyone fucking says it's okay to do. Not a lot of us think that that's very smart to promote, because now a kid's going to go, well, coach does it. Why the fuck can't I do it? Jay's right. A lot of this stuff trickles from the top down, and they want it from the bottom up, and that's not how life works. If I see the guys above me doing dumb shit and they're like, yeah, it's whatever, you're going to go, okay, well, fuck it, I'm going to do it, whatever. But if the dude above you is like, you were drinking and driving, get the fuck out of my school. Fuck is wrong with you? How seriously stupid could you be after we give you all these resources to get you home? Get the fuck out. That sends a clear message.
And I think it's okay to, behind closed doors, love up on the kid and help him and be like, hey, you made a mistake, but that's life. You make mistakes in life, their actions have consequences. But to come out publicly and say it like he did was just...
That was fucked up, dude. I've never heard that. Never. He actually admitted to it.
Saban said it best when someone got in trouble, and he's like, if a kid gets in trouble in my school, you really think the best thing to do is just kick them out onto the streets?
No.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's about bringing them in and helping them through it, but there are still consequences for that action. right? And Bo is the same way. Like Alex said, like Bo used to class check. And if you weren't there when the bell started to be in class, it was 5 a.m. with him the next morning doing pencil rolls up and down the field.
Oh yeah,
right? Like all that
punished.
stuff. Yeah, all that stuff matters. And so I think that this is just, and also like as a dad, like if my kid's getting recruited by Mike Gundy, you don't step foot in my house. Don't step foot in my house and tell me how you're going to help my son become a better person, like all that stuff, and be like, and then get on TV and be like, we've all drunk and drive. It's okay. It's fine. He just got caught. Like, no, absolutely not okay. There's certain lines you cannot cross. Drinking and driving is 100% one of them, because it's not just putting yourself at risk. You're putting everyone else around you at risk, and that's where you got to draw a line.
To be fair, I got a DUI in college, and Tressel was brutal with me. And it was like punishment so bad that I was like, I swear to God, I don't ever want to be a bad kid again. Like it was the same thing. Behind closed doors, he loved you up. And he was like, hey, we all fuck up, dude. We all make mistakes, but you made a really, really big one. And really, really big mistakes come with really, really big consequences. And I'm telling you, there were days I was like, I'm just going to quit. Fuck. I don't think I can do this. But the whole time, he made me go to Bible study every morning with him at 5 a.m. And he used to make me sit there and read the Bible about how drinking too much and partying too much and being a fucking worthless piece of shit wasn't
Book
right.
Of James, the old Book of James.
He made me write and read more than I ever had in my entire life. And I was like, I swear to God, I'd rather run hundreds right now. And he's like, I know. That's why we're doing this. And I was like, oh my God, you're killing me, old man. Like, can you put something on the TV? He'd be like, no, quiet room. I'd be like, God, I am losing my mind.
It's you and the Lord right now.
Oh yeah, and then I went outside every day and threw up. Like they were like, he's not done until he throws up, and I throw up. They're like, make him throw up again. And I'd be like, dude, like you learn, and that's why I'm so excited. But to be honest, like that's the discipline that it takes to last in the NFL, because there's going to be times where you're going to be like, fuck, man. I thought about it a lot of times in the NFL. I could go out right now and get drunk, and I was like, dude, what if I get in trouble, though? And I thought about Tressel fucking making me run, and I was like, could you imagine what they would do to me up here? Like, just the thought of it was like, no, I'm good. I'm never want to do that again. It was tough.
I mean, again, and it's not to jump on too big of a soapbox here, but it's also just about being a man in society. Like, there's a lack of good men in society right now.
I agree.
Like, a lot of it stems from just not being conditioned the right way. So
right.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Dude,
that stuff can't happen.
I'm going to add one thing to this. So I come from a background. My dad and my grandfather played football for Newt Rockne at Notre Dame.
Yep.
Got kicked out of school he was a drunk. He was an alcoholic. Got kicked out of school when he was 19, 20 years old. They actually asked him. Our family has a handwritten letter from Newt Rockne asking him to come back to be the starting fullback for the next season.
Oh my God.
And his Irish pride and ego basically say, "Screw you! I'm not coming back. You guys did me wrong, right?" And then my dad comes around. My dad was a homeless alcoholic for 5-10 years in Chicago and Minneapolis. Alcoholism, and it's been beaten into my head for a long time. Drinking and driving is. So I got lucky in that regard, and that at least I learned a lesson from the male side of my family. Don't get it. Now, I've had some regrettable moments where probably shouldn't have been in a car when you're 21, 22 years old. Here's my question for you guys. It probably took me until I was in my early 30s. I'm 39 now to figure out that this shit is not a video game. Like fully realize that, no, you are one bad decision or somebody else's bad decision away from on the road somewhere else, the game being over, whatever that means, right?
Yeah.
Like how some of these players, you're making 6-7 figures for the first time. You're a 22, 23-year-old idiot. You're Alex Boone at Ohio State. Like you're jumping on car. I mean,
it's fucking stupid.
At what point do you whether you're a football player or not, do you look at life with perspective and think, oh, holy shit, like tomorrow's not guaranteed. Even if I make good decisions, tomorrow's not guaranteed.
Correct.
There's a couple times for me. I think the first one was in, I want to say it was 2016. One of my good friends died in a car accident, like a teammate, right? Like he was driving home from a kickers camp, Sam Foltz, and car went off the road, hit a tree, and I got that phone call the next morning. It's like, hey, Sam's dead. And like just that was a really gravity moment, because I was like the first person in my life that wasn't a family member that you were close to, that you're just like, I can't pick up the phone and call that guy anymore, right? And then I also think it's when I became a dad. Like when I became a dad and I was holding my son for the first time, and I was like, holy crap, like this little thing depends on me to live.
Yeah.
Right. Like it can't live on its own. It can't feed itself. It can't do anything on its own. Like it is fully dependent on me and my wife to live. Like that was a super, like, just, again, I know it sounds weird. Like, oh, well, yeah, you became a dad. But like something shifted in me of just like more cautious, more aware of things, more aware of people around me, just because there's so much more dependent on it. And then again, just last year when one of my good friends died from a drunk driving accident, he was coming home from the bar, had too many, went off the road, hit a tree, went through the windshield and died. Right. And so getting that phone call too of a guy that I came into school with, like we were the same class, went through everything. I was in his wedding, like the whole bit. And then to get that phone call of like happening there, like those are just moments where you're like, holy cow, dude, like it's forever. Like he's gone. Right. Gone like forever. And like those moments are ones that stick with you and kind of just sober you up with some of that stuff.
I remember when you got that phone call. I think I talked to you right after.
Oh, well,
I remember I was, no, and it's sad to see that stuff. And I don't know.
I think we lost Boone.
Oh boy. Right in the middle of he's probably still talking to himself.
Here, I'll put him in the timeout room there.
He's probably still talking to himself. But yeah, you back?
He'll come back. He'll come back.
You know, but I just think that, there's moments, but I think that's part of when you have a good locker room and you have some older guys, like trying to help those younger guys understand that. I mean, you think of a guy like Henry Ruggs, right? Like made a really, really bad decision and his life is ruined, right? I mean, and not just he killed someone else, right? Like, and then, I mean, you talk about like the Rasheed Rice, not Rasheed, Rasheed Rice.
Well, Kyrie Jackson.
And then Kyrie Jackson.
No, Kyrie Jackson was a passenger, but alcohol may have been involved. And you think about, I mean, like on the Kyrie Jackson thing, the Vikings 4th-round pick who died in that car accident. I mean, 3:00 in the morning, he may have not had a drop. He was a passenger. The police said alcohol may have been involved. But you start to think later in life, and I'm not like prematurely blaming him for anything. Nothing might have been his fault, but I don't want to be on the road after midnight because other people might, even if it's not me. Like, is somebody else out there being an idiot? I don't know. That
was the first thing my wife said. She was like, "Nothing good happens at 3 a.m." And then I reminded her. I was like, how many times were we out at 3 a.m. when we were 22 years old?
Oh my God, don't even.
All the time.
All the time.
Every day.
Like all the time. Like, and it's like, yeah, now that we're older and wiser, it's like, yeah, you wish, but at the same time, you can only teach so much. It's sometimes just life experience, and unfortunately bad things happen. And I mean, that was so sad to hear about Kyrie Jackson.
That was so sad, dude. That was, especially being here. Like, dude, it's the coaches and everybody, the team coming out about him. Like, it's so sad, man. They're such young kids, and it's terrible.
Yeah, you guys have talked a lot too about, I think it was like a week or two ago, and one of you made a kind of a joke about you'll be sitting in an offensive line meeting room for, 7 hours, and it's like, why are we watching this play again and again? It's because they know that they can account for you when you're in that room.
Yes.
They can, if you're at practice, if you're in the film room, if you're in the building, they can account for you. And
that's 95%.
This is the 6 weeks where coaches and agents just dread it, right?
Yes.
Dude, they hate it.
This is 95% of the reason why OTAs exist. Right, like it's not as much about the football as much as like we just need you back in the building.
Right, we need to see you.
We need to see you,
touch you. No, you're not hurt. Like all these things.
Yeah.
You would see that all the time.
When OTAs end a training camp, it's just one of those things. As a coach, and now as an agent, you're just like, man, just get me to August. Like, I don't want anything bad to happen to my boys. Like, not even if it's not their fault, something else happens. Like, there's just so much that goes into it. It's like, man, just don't let something. Like, I send a text out to every single one of the kids I'm recruiting and every single one of my clients on July 3rd, and I go, listen, let someone else light off the fireworks. Like, I know it's fun. I know it's a good time, but it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. I played against Jason Pierre-Paul on Monday Night Football with his gross claw hand. Like, it's not worth it, right? Like, it's just not worth it. And a lot of the guys you'd be surprised how many would respond like, you're right. Like, I haven't thought about it like that. Like, I have someone more in front of me. Like, someone else can light off the fireworks.
Dude.
Like, because it's just all it takes is one thing to go wrong, and all of a sudden, like, your career's derailed. Everything's derailed. Like, I don't know. It's just, a little protectiveness piece of it. But again, it's just like, I wish someone would have told me that. Yeah, like, I was lighting off.
Oh, we definitely shut off fireworks for sure.
It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Like, I don't even like lighting them off now.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest, I was shooting him off the year that he lost his hand. I was shooting him off as I was reading about it. And that's when I was like, I'm fucking I will never, because you're like, there's no way this could ever happen to me. And then and that's what it is you go through your whole life and everyone's like, you're a warrior, you're a beast. You're like, yeah, I can never get hurt. And then sometimes you get hurt doing something not football and you're like, holy shit, I'm not a beast. I am not a warrior. You trip over the fucking curb and you're like, wait, what the fuck is that? Like, I can get hurt? Oh my God. Like it's, I'm telling you, you have to learn.
He's not a machine. He's a man.
Yeah.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
I'm a man.
Years in drive.
God. Yeah.
I'm 40.
So Mike Gundy, come on, dude. Mike Gundy.
We'll see if they keep him. We'll see.
No way.
Let's get to some dumb football questions here, gentlemen. You guys can always submit the audience through the YouTube comment section. There's no question that is too dumb for this segment here. So let's start with Pablo. What would you guys say, Alex and Jeremiah, are the biggest differences between the NFL and college football? Obviously, the talent gets thinned out. You the best player. So besides just talent, what are the other biggest differences between the NFL and college football?
You ready? I got one. This is a good one. We can just go back and forth. The facilities. When you're in college, my dude, I remember I was just talking to somebody, and I think it was Trevor. We were talking about our facilities. He went to Notre Dame, and I was at Ohio State. And I was like, yeah, I remember when we upgraded, they spent like $100 million on the facility, and they got it from one guy. And they asked his wife. And I was like, I remember because Tress told us, and she was just like, sure, take it. And I was like, and then I went to the Niners, and they didn't even have a fucking cafeteria. We ate out of a food truck, and the weight room had 3 racks for fucking 90 guys. I was like, I don't know how we survived. And then all of a sudden, like when you get there, the guys in the NFL are like, shut up, bitch. Fucking lift it. You're like, there's nowhere to lift though. Like I can't there's physically nowhere for me to eat. They're like, oh, it comes around 11:30, but it leaves at 12. So you better hurry the fuck up. You're like, what? Is it a chef? Is it a person? No, it's a truck. The fuck you mean a truck? Like, dude, you are so like, okay, we're back to slumming it. Like you just, it's hard to explain, but like when you're in college,
sure.
you're dude, your locker. I remember they were like, we're going to get this exotic wood. It's going to be gorgeous. I punched it one time and broke my hand because I was so fucking mad. It's very exotic. But then you get to like the football facility in the NFL and they're like, yeah, we've been using these lockers since we started. We think we can use them another 10 years. And you're like, dude, the fucking wood is warped. They're like, it still works. Shut up. Dude, we were at fucking Winter Park. And Minnesota, I walked in day one and I was like, is this the same hot tub they used when they first opened this place? He's like, yeah, sure is.
They've upgraded since then. But
I was like, dude, it's been 40 years. What are you waiting for? They're like, well, you got to fucking win.
You were using the same hot tub that Fran Tarkenton soaked in.
I was kind of excited.
70s, dude.
Jay, tell me we didn't have the most fun in that cold tub hot
tub.
Oh, yeah,
it was a great time.
The most fun.
I mean, but it was like a truly like above ground pool. Like you had to like climb up and into it. Like it wasn't like these walk-ins. Like no, you like climb up and into it.
At Ohio State, we had one that was shaped like a block O, and then you could like walk into the other one that was shaped like a block O, and then you could go in the next room that had the treadmill that was shaped like a block O, like the cool graphics on the ground. Yep. And then I got to the Vikings and I was like, hey, where's the water treadmill? And they're like, it's in the closet. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Facilities are definitely one. I mean, you're starting to see them get upgraded a little bit more now. But I mean, I remember saying I got to the Chargers and our cafeteria was a tent outside.
Yeah, so was ours.
Like it was like one of the pop-up like circus tents outside. Yes. And like they trucks would come in, and we had Qualcomm was a disaster.
You had to walk underneath the bleachers
when the rookies would come. Like when the rookies would come there for the 90, they had to put up like middle of the room lockers so that there was enough like room for everyone.
Winter Park, same way.
Yeah, same way. So that was a big one.
Remember that? It was like a maze.
Yeah, I think the other biggest thing was just the stress, right? Like in college, you thought you were stressed. Right, you're like, I got school, like I have to play well on Saturdays, like I got to do this. But then when you get to the league, and you're like, oh gosh, if I have a bad practice, like I could be done, right? Like my career could be over. Like the added stress that you had, where it's not like, well, I'll just fall back. I know I got 4 years here, right? Like you knew that at any moment, at any part of the day, your career could be over. Like the guy, his name was Ian. I don't remember his last name. He's from Boston College. He came in. He has a PFA. We had rookie mini camp. We had I don't remember. I honestly don't know his last name. We had rookie mini camp. We had rookie mini camp. He played like shit. He got cut 3 days into his NFL career. Was done. Like, I didn't even have his phone number yet. Like, I got back to the hotel room, and there was a note he left on, like, the stationery that was like, hey, man, they cut me. Hope you nothing but the best. And then 2 minutes later, the new guy walked in, and he, like, who was at rookie minicamp, he's like, oh, hey, man. So I was like, oh, hey. He's like, hey, where's Ian? And I was like, you're the new Ian. Yeah. Right? Like, and like,
you're him.
You're the new Ian.
It's
and like,
guy.
that was the like super sobering moment for me. That I was like, dude, this thing is literally like one bad day away from being over. And that stress can compound and build on you over time too. And I saw it eat guys alive. Like, I saw it absolutely eat guys alive that couldn't handle that. And that one bad day compounded to 2 bad days, which compounded into a week, which then led him to be cut. Like, so learning how to handle stress properly was a big piece.
Man, it's funny because when Booney first said facilities, like, I automatically thought, oh yeah, you graduate to NFL facilities. But if you're going from, I mean, you guys went to Nebraska, Ohio State. These are boosters are investing millions, tens of millions of dollars.
Nebraska's new football facility just got opened, $138 million facility. They have a basically Olympic-sized cold tub, like Booney said, that you can walk in a circle in.
Yeah.
To get into the cold tub, you walk through what they have dubbed the car wash, which is like sprinklers that wash you off while
So you
you're
don't bring
sweat from
nasty
practice.
shit into it.
So then you walk into it. They have an entire room full of nap pods, like 40 nap pods. They have 8 float tanks, right? Those like big saltwater float tanks. Their weight room is the size of a warehouse. Like, all of it's you could lift
that,
120 guys. All that to go below 500. I know, Matt.
I'm
aware. Thank you. But
well, you're getting kicked out of the Big Ten this year, by the way, if you guys don't do some shit. You too, Minnesota.
Last week they just flipped over on all the websites the new 2024 Big Ten standings, and it's it's like a paragraph long. So we're still keeping the Pac-2. The Pac-2 is still a thing for this year, apparently.
Just for this year.
For Oregon State and Wazoo, right?
Yep,
they're just playing in the same conference.
They should just play. They should.
Are we going to have a championship game?
They should have to play each other every week. Just 12 straight
back
weeks.
And forth,
just
back and forth,
home and homes.
That'd be hilarious.
Oh man. Okay. Next on football question from Eloso3135. Can the guys talk about their experience dropping weight after their playing days? I watched a few YouTube vids of Boone back in the day, and no offense, bro, but you had massive chipmunk cheeks when you played.
Easy.
So yeah, Boone, you were like, you were triathlon training at one point.
Mine was almost unfair. I did a Kokoro, the 52 hours with the Sirles out in Temecula, which was amazing. And then I did the Ironman, Escape from Alcatraz, a bunch of them. But I don't know. I think that when I was coming into the league, the trends were so different, right? Like, there were so many big guys. And then you would see these big guys having lots of problems. And they can't move very well, and they can't walk well. And at times I feel like what you eat kind of helps your brain. So I was quick to be like, listen, I never really wore a mouth guard. I need to protect myself at all times. So that, and the fact that I think that you obviously have the gym, which is easy to fall back on every day. Like, I'm out there striking with the boys, running around with them, messing with them, coaching a million sports. Like, I'm just so active that my ADD never slows the fuck down, and it just constantly gets me into new adventures and gets me in a lot of trouble at times. But honestly, it's just eating right, dude. Like, I would love to go crush pizza all day and wings. And dude, I'd love to drink a fucking beer. Like, I think at this point I've deserved it, but it's like, is that really going to make me feel better? Is that really going to, like, the ice cream, the cakes, I used to eat pies from Kowalski's all the fucking time. And I've had to limit myself, although they brought back the raspberry lime pie the other day, and I did go crazy one night. Don't fucking judge me. Kowalski's, I love you. But that's it.
Yeah, I think I've been on more of a, like, Boone got it off and kept it off. I've actually been more of a kind of a yo-yo with it. Like, I immediately got down to like 270, felt great, and then I yo-yoed to kind of 280, and then I recently, when I had shoulder surgery, I'm back over 300 right now, which I hate.
No shit?
Yeah, I'm 305 right now, which I'm not happy about.
Good for you.
But, like, I can feel what Boone's talking about, though, as far as, like, I'm having more issues with my joints now that I'm heavier than I did. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's like, I've been 300 pounds before, but I don't have the muscle mass to carry the frame like I used to. Right? Like, I used to be strong, like big 315, 320, like strong. I can carry this frame. When you don't work out like that, like when you get big like this, it just puts some more stress on your joints. So I've actually started hitting it pretty hard here again to try and get back down to that 270 range where I'm at, just because I've wore and tore so many of my joints that I don't have that strength to be able to hold on to it anymore. but it's harder for me to keep it off than I wish it was, right? Like I'm a guy like I have to stay extremely disciplined in my diet, extremely disciplined in my workout regimen just to lose some weight. But if I lose, like if I'm 3-4 days off the wagon, I can put 4 pounds on, and I hate it. It sucks, but like I have to be very, very strict and disciplined with it. And that gets harder to do with the more kids you have and the more activities you're running around. And my lifestyle being on the road is, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I had a golf event on Monday.
Those are hard.
Got on a plane Tuesday morning at 6:15, flew to Connecticut, met with the kid on Tuesday night. I was back on a plane at 5:35 this morning, got home. Like, I haven't eaten well over the last 3 days.
Yeah.
Right. And like that, it's just hard for me to do, but I know what I have to do. And that just goes back to being more disciplined about it. And the guys that get the weight off are extremely disciplined about how they do it.
When you guys are, because there's probably a lot of people that didn't play football but would love to lose 30 or 40 pounds. When you're in that mode of, all right, I'm gonna over the next however many weeks or months, I'm gonna drop 25 or 30. Like, what are some of the pillars for exercise and diet that you lean on?
I mean, I think the easiest thing is if it's not grilled and it's not green and it's not white rice, I don't eat it. Like you did listen. People are like, I got to count my macros, and my wife at times does that macro thing, and I love her to death.
I have to count.
That's fine. I think that if you just kept it simple, I'm going to grill some fucking chicken, I'm going to eat some broccoli, I'm going to do some little bit of rice. I just do that nonstop. And I know people are like, it's so hard and redundant. No shit. Everything in life is so fucking hard. That's why we do it. But you feel so much better, and you just, I don't know. I go up and down about it. The macros things drives me nuts because I feel like people look a little too deep into it. And I get that some people have to. Like my wife does. She loves it. She thinks it's great. But it's like, it's sometimes like, you know, if you just ate grilled chicken and a little bit of rice, you'd be fine. Like, you'll be fine.
Yeah. I'm big on tracking. Just, I think it really makes you realize how much you overeat. Right, like if you're tracking, like truly, like for me, it's like I think if I try and eat like 2,400 calories a day when I'm doing things the right way.
What's the daily gap?
That's it. 24.
I try and when I'm trying to lose weight, like, and sometimes it's up to like 27 when I'm like a workout day, but like it's very much the same type of meals for breakfast. Like getting in a routine that's the same, like protein shake, couple eggs, like some Canadian bacon or some turkey bacon, and a piece of toast. Right, like. Hit your protein goals, there you go, and then like just kind of change the flavors up for lunch and dinner, but like making sure you track that. And then the big thing is just get enough protein. It's amazing the lack of protein in our society of like what we'll have like from a calorie perspective wise. Like hitting your protein number is actually, I try and get like 275 of protein a day, which is actually really hard.
It is.
It's
like 9 pieces.
Dude,
that's like 9 pieces of chicken. That's a lot.
I do a 40-gram protein shake in the morning, and then I do like a Greek yogurt protein granola, like snack at night. That's another like 35 protein powder. So I try and drink or eat yogurt of like almost 75 grams of protein, and then the rest is just like Boone said, chicken or grilled grass-fed beef, like that type of stuff, and try to keep the fat down too. Try to get like the macros of the fat down as well.
And honestly, you should be lifting at least 3 days a week. I get crazy, and I'm going crazy right now because of my surgery. I want to be super big going into it so I don't lose too much out of it. But once I'm done with this surgery, I'll go back to training 7 days a week. It'll be bike in between every lifting day. So it'll be like a fucking 50-mile bike ride in between just to get everything going. And, dude, the more you and this is one of the coolest things about Peloton is, like, if you can get a Peloton into a dark room at like 5 in the morning, you'll go fucking nuts. Those guys will talk.
Are you getting back on it?
Shit.
Are you getting back on it?
About it. I'll tell you what, here's the problem. My trainer is so much more fun because I have a bike fitted for me. So I can get on my trainer and ride like all these hard courses. And I can watch a movie while I'm doing it. And I just go until I pass out. And I'm like, I love this.
Peloton has Netflix, I'm pretty sure now.
I know, but the Peloton, listen, for all those that don't know, when you ride a real bike, your ass doesn't sit like that. So that's why it's hard for me to get back on a Peloton because I'm so used to being flat. So I love my trainer because I just lay there and I do triceps the whole time. I come off, my arms are massive, my fucking legs are big. Wait till my knees straight. You're all fucked. I'm going back to hey, he's mad he's at 305. I'm going back to 305. I was like, I'm gonna squat so much weight.
Muscle,
I was talking to Dr. Bjorky. He was like, you're gonna be in the gym fucking squatting 3 days later. I was like, seriously? He was like, oh yeah, dude, you're gonna be fine. I was like, bring it on, bitch. Bring this fucking metal on. I'm ready.
Yeah, I love my Peloton. It's my favorite thing.
A blast.
It's addicting. Pelotons are addicting.
Dude, I think they've made it way harder to get higher outputs than they used to. because I used to get some really stupid.
Jay's outputs were so ridiculous.
I used to get some stupid outputs.
I used to have to call him while he was doing it to like proof that he was
like,
actually on the bike. I was like, there's no way. I'd watch his numbers go up like 5 at a time, and I'd be like, there's
we were talking about this. This is only for like the hardcore, only the people that are like dialed into Peloton.
Listen,
will understand what I'm about to say.
We're trying to find.
What
was your number for a 30-minute ride?
741.
That's just, you were saying like 700 output for
741, dude. I saw it.
741 for a 30-minute ride was the best I ever did.
I raced him that day with Carter Bykowski, and you two took off, and I was like, I'm at like 1,000. You're at like 10. I don't know. And I called him. I FaceTimed him and be like, show me you're on the bike right now. He was, we won. I was like, motherfucker, he's doing it.
I used to like, my wife used to make fun of me because like I would be in the backyard on my hands and knees puking. Like, because I pushed myself like so hard to win, and like, because that leaderboard does something to me, dude.
It does. It does.
It clicks something in my mind where you're just like, you look at the next person, and you're like, all right, you're next, bitch, and then you beat them, and then like you just keep going and keep going and keep going, and then you get one that's like a 20 gap, like between you and the next person. You're like, oh, all right, a challenge. You just go for it. Yeah, I can't count the number of times I literally just like in the backyard, just and then she'd come out on the patio and be like, you're an idiot. She's like, you're a literal idiot. I'm like, I know.
God,
I know.
These tree trunks.
Dude, we had a
crew.
Legs,
we had a crew.
So
it was like me, Booney, Carter Bykowski. I used to ride with Danny Woodhead and his two brothers. Like I had a 5:30 a.m. crew. We'd all text each other, be like, all right, we're starting this ride at 5:30. Ready, go. And then you can see each other on there. Oh, it was great.
Man, I'll tell you, old Macadac just did his first 60-minute power endurance ride last week.
Hey,
right.
way to pop your cherry, pussy.
Little self-suck right there.
Finally jumped into
What's your best 45-minute? Do you remember what your best 45-minute output is?
Just under 600.
I was 997. I was so close to hitting 1,000. And I just
See?
couldn't. I
See what I'm
couldn't
saying?
get it. I couldn't get it. But I think they made it harder.
Sense,
I honestly think they made it harder because I haven't even sniffed 600 in a hot minute. Like I think they made it harder.
You want
You're
a shot at the
getting
title?
old,
Why don't you?
Oh, I will smoke you, Mackie.
I know.
I will run
Give me-
you up and down.
How about this? I'll do. Let me think here. Give me like 15 extra minutes. So I'll do a 45. You do a 30, and let me see if I can beat your total output on a 45.
Ooh, that'd be tough.
Can I get some time in this?
Because
Because I want to jump in this.
I can get 600 on a 45.
I could definitely.
You've done 700 on a 30 before.
Yeah, I like.
This is like if you're like a scratch golfer and I shoot 90.
What's your handicap? I'll give you a 15-minute handicap on the Peloton.
Dude, I want in on this after my knee's better.
If anyone wants to be in a Peloton crew, hit me up. Let's do it. I want to get.
Do you want to throw your name out?
Sirles 71, super easy, but also like, hit it up on Instagram, Twitter, whatever. I'm down. I love getting a crew together and finding a time to ride, and we'll put together a group chat or something. I think it's the best part of Peloton.
I think I'm just at Phil Mackey. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
on Peloton.
Mine's the Rhino 75 as always.
Surprise.
Okay.
Surprise.
Let's go, dude. One more dumb football question, and then we'll do a little film review for the week. Bad Dad Joke wants to know. Actually, this is a fitting question. When an offensive lineman comes into the NFL with the profile of needs more sand in the pants, is that commonly just a way to say they have to bulk up, or is it more of like a technique thing? What does needs more sand in the pants mean for an offensive lineman?
I can't say I've ever heard that. I think I've heard a little bit more like you need a little more lead in your pencil.
I've heard that.
Like there's a little more lead in your pencil.
That's said a lot.
Yeah, that one. Or there's another one I'm trying to think of.
Well, I'm trying to think of what it is too.
Lead in your ass, like a little bit more lead in your ass, right? Which is just talking about like you need to have a better anchor and you need to be stronger in the lower body.
Okay.
Right, like that's more about what it's about because so much of the NFL, especially if you're playing the interior position on the O-line, is like, can you not get pushed backwards into the quarterback's lap? It's like, so does he have enough lead in his ass? Right, like can he sit down on a bull rush of Dexter Lawrence? Can he sit, or is he going to be a guy that's going to get walked back because he's got Alex Boone legs? Right, like those are the kind of things that. Sorry, shots fired. That was bad. I'll take myself for that.
Wow, that was an unnecessary.
Yeah, that was
drive-by right there.
Completely under the bus. Fine.
First of all, nobody ever pushed me back into the quarterback. These fucking legs did just fine. Okay,
sensitive.
Very.
But yeah, that's. I think that's more the sand in the pants. Just talk about they just got to get stronger in the lower body.
Yeah, it's said commonly. A lot of times in the run game too, because they're not moving anybody, and you're like, dude, fucking bring your shit with you. You need to get stronger, bigger. But for the most part, it's not. I think it's said about young guys. It's not really said about older guys, because if you need more lead in your pencil as an older guy, they're just gonna be like, dude, peace out, right? Like,
yeah, we'll find a younger guy.
Exactly. Like they mostly say that about what do you think about this guy? And the coach would be like, I think he needs a little more lead in his ass. And you're like, better get stronger, motherfucker. You better do some squats this summer. That's exactly what he's telling you.
Yeah. So good round of dumb football questions here today, gentlemen. For the audience, keep sending us in the YouTube comment section. Click that like button, the subscribe button, and we'll keep rocking your dumb football questions here.
Football's so close. We're almost there,
2
man.
weeks until training camp.
We're almost there.
I know.
3 weeks until I think the first preseason game. The Hall of Fame game is usually the first weekend in August?
17th. Yeah, it's the 17th this year because some of the guys got to leave, and I'm already getting sad. I'm gonna miss them. Oh, God.
All right, that's a wrap. O-line committee: Jeremiah Sirles, Alex Boone, Phil Mackey. We'll see you guys next time.